Tuesday. So this is my tea. I'm having tuna on a baked potato with some salad and beetroot, and the dog's trying to... No, you're not having it. My little cheat is a little blob of brown sauce. But other than that, it's all healthy. It's not a cheeseburger, is it, Dobby? Or it's not a spag ball. What can you do? Okay, let's test it out. Hello guys. God, I forgot to do my wing mirror. It is Thursday. I'm going into my mum's. I had to switch it because I don't know what I told. Right, I don't think I've told you any of this yet, so it's something to tell you today. Not very interesting, I'm sure. I've got that bloody diversion back. So Tuesday, Isaac was meant to go to the dentist to have a baby tooth removed. We got a phone call about 20 minutes before Darren was just about to leave to collect Isaac to get him out of school. School really frown upon you having appointments during school time, but they couldn't see him outside of school time. So, hello, Mr. Davey. Yes, it's the dentist. And Darren says, do not tell me you're phoning to cancel. It's a haunted radio. What? Well, I guess reception at this point. So the reason he said that is because that dentist has cancelled with us 6 times at least. Basically, they got a replacement dentist. Initially, they said that he didn't have the paperwork for NHS, so unless we're willing to pay privately, that we couldn't be seen. And basically, obviously, unless there's something wrong with our teeth, the prices are astronomical. But we thought with Isaac being a child that he would still be entitled to, you know. Long story short, and they cancelled on him a ton of times as well. They've cancelled on all of us. So this specific time, we had to wait 18 months on the appointment for the orthodontist coming through. He seen him, he says, right, he needs a brace. He put him in for June, and he said, I can't fit it. There's a baby tooth there that should have come out and hasn't. It needs to be extracted. So I need to send him back to his dentist to have the tooth out, and then I can do the brace. So this is what the appointment was for, to take that tooth out so we can have a brace fitted. The dentist that works there was going on holiday for a month to Australia the very next day. So the reason Isaac was booked in that day was because it was the last day he was going to be in work, and it needs doing for the orthodontist to do the brace. Darren fucking hit the roof. Not surprised. And he says, look, he says, I've been going around in circles a year and a half trying to get this sorted out. He said, you've cancelled, and the woman on the other end, I'm really sorry. When I saw your name come up, I knew that we'd cancelled on you so many times. All I can do is apologise. We got a phone call from him today to say he wouldn't be coming in. Basically, he's left us in the shit. She didn't put it like that, but that's what she meant. I don't think the guy's coming back, because would you go back to a job that you'd done that on the staff? Can you imagine having to work with all the staff in that dental surgery, all the nurses and reception staff, when you had dropped that on them? The day before you're going on holiday, you just decide, I'm not coming in. So they've got a replacement dentist for a month to cover, and Darren says, let me guess, he doesn't see NHS patients. And she says, oh, I'm really sorry, he doesn't have the paperwork. This is why is he like coming in to replace a dentist for a month with no paperwork for NHS? Oh well, I don't know what to tell you. We can see him privately though. So Darren ranted and raved, and I'm not made of money, blah blah blah. I didn't know about any of this. I was still in bed, so he came and told me, and I'm like, well, we're going to have to pay for it to be done. So the long shot of it is we're going to have to pay probably up to about £100 for Isaac to have a baby tooth extracted, because if we don't and he misses the appointment with the orthodontist, I don't know how long it's going to be before he can, we waited 18 months for the first one because it's a private dentist, very very posh. Do you know how much it costs? Was the prices on it for an actual brace privately is £5,000. I mean, can you believe that? And then there's those Invisalign, which are even more expensive. Who can afford £5,000 for a brace for their kid? So we basically had to wait on the NHS appointment whenever it came up. Car feels a bit... I keep thinking I've got that button on that drags it to the side. It feels a bit odd. You know when you're driving and you just think your car doesn't feel quite right? Hopefully it'll be alright. So anyway, that was Tuesday. So the dentist is phoning us back on Friday when the new dentist is in to complete some paperwork to find out when they can fit us in, when we pay for it. We don't want to pay for it, but the plan is to get this done, get the brace on, and then ring around and see if we can get a NHS dentist elsewhere, because it's just ridiculous. So Wednesday, Molly had her x-ray at the vet's. She went down 10 o'clock in the morning and she wasn't ready. Well, basically we phoned because they said they'd phone by about 1. She had to have full anaesthetic because we've got that dead man's finger going on again. Raynaud's syndrome, basically what it means is the blood vessels constrict and the blood doesn't get to the end of your fingers and they end up looking like a corpse. All the blood drains out. Whee! Sorry, a wee bird nearly flew into the car. I was like, oh no, don't kill yourself flying into my car. Never forgive me, so not that I could do anything about it, but I don't want to kill a wee bird. So, what was I saying about the dentist? No, about Molly. So she had to be sedated to have an x-ray for her heart and lungs because the previous dentist put her on this medication that is really expensive. It's called Vetmedin. Put her on the medication without an x-ray, and she didn't have, her heart murmur isn't severe enough to warrant it. And the new vet, who I found out was in my year at school, Darren came home and said, oh, the vet's got the same surname as us. And I'm like, hang on a minute, her first name isn't Mary, is it? And he says, yeah. I said, she was in my bloody year at school. So I know the vet. I haven't been down and met her, but I knew who she was when he said the name. So she had her x-ray. We phoned back about 2 because they hadn't phoned, and they says, oh yeah, she's sat up looking at us now. We want to keep her for another couple of hours, so if you collect her about 4. So it turns out she has an enlarged heart. The vet said it isn't affecting her quality of life at all. It's not affecting her. She's not showing symptoms. She said, which is why I was so confused as to why the previous vet had put you on the medication. The heart murmur is not severe enough, but he hadn't done an x-ray to confirm, and it can be damaging if she doesn't need it, but it turns out she does need it. So the upshot of it is we still have to pay for the medication, and we had to pay an extra 170 quid for the x-ray. So wonderful. So it's 100 quid for Isaac's tooth, 170 for the x-ray, and 90 quid for the supply of Vetmedin. She'll have to go back every so often for a re-checkup, like every 6 months, for a new prescription for the tablets. So that wasn't the best news you want, I don't know, I think Molly's 9 now, and for like I don't like to use the word pedigree dog, but most every dog I've ever had, bar one, has been a mongrel, has been a crossbreed, and they do tend to be healthy. They live longer. I don't know why. Certain breeds of dogs, like full breeds, don't live as long. So I don't know what the general lifespan for a Yorkshire Terrier is, but I would hazard a guess maybe somewhere around 12. It's horrible when your animal starts getting older, and she's 9 now. So, and we don't know exactly what age Dobby is. We think Dobby is about 7. When we got her, they said she could be anything between 3 and 5. But I don't think they really knew, to be honest. She was used as a breeding dog. She was just basically kept and bred from. And the person that owned her, they said, was a hoarder, but that's all we knew of her past. No real more information. She had had several litters and she was with a hoarder. So we're estimating she's around about 7, but can't be 100% sure. So yeah, that's the news this week so far, guys. I have to go to Tesco. This is a pain in the arse. When I go into my mum's later in the week, I can't just order her shopping with mine and bring it in, which is what I normally do. I have to actually go to the supermarket, which I don't even do for myself. And I have to go to the supermarket to pick these things up for her. It's like, I honestly don't think she appreciates how much I bloody do for her. My back's still really bad. I've got a really bad attack of sciatica at the minute. If you've got it, you'll know what I mean. how painful it is. It's been a few weeks now and there's been no let up at all. See, trying to sleep at night in bed, it's pain. It's not good. I'm on day 4 of my healthy eating plan and I'm dying. I'm starving. I haven't been able to resist stepping on the scales and I've lost no weight. This is what I don't understand. I know people that are heavy, you know, that need to lose weight and that they do Slimming World and then they fall off the wagon and they go back on it. And there's a guy and his mum and they both do Slimming World and they tend to like do it for a while and they do really well, and then like most people they fall off the wagon and then they go back on. But anyway, these two, when they both go back on Slimming World, we're talking anything between, and I'm not exaggerating here, anything between 5 and 7 pounds they can lose in a week. And people say when you start, obviously you're at your heaviest, and if you are overweight you will lose a lot more to start with and then it will level itself out. Well, that doesn't happen with me. If I lose 1 or 2 pounds in a week, that's the result. And with my starting weight, I should be losing an awful lot more than that. It's really, really frustrating, guys. So I've been having like a piece of cinnamon raisin toast, which is tiny. It's not even as big as a normal piece of toast. In the morning for breakfast with a coffee. When I say morning, about 12, because I only eat like 1 meal, like breakfast and lunch, because I don't get up that early. I can't, to be honest. And then sort of like about 5 o'clock, I've been having my evening meal. So far I've had like a baked potato with salad and tuna. Tonight I am having, what was it I said I was having tonight? Oh, I was having roasted peppers with brown rice and maybe some broccoli and cauliflower. So, you know, I'm eating really healthily. I haven't snacked. The only snacks I've had have been like raw carrot with hummus. That's it. So I am really behaving myself. I haven't cheated. I haven't. A morsel of chocolate has not passed my lips, and it's distressing. So we shall see what happens, guys. But not an awful lot. Not a lot is happening right now. Right, I shall go because I've nothing more to tell you. It's a really nice day today. What temperature is it? 12 degrees. It's not warm, but there's not a cloud to be seen in the sky. It's a nice blue sky, which is lovely. It's not the day to be traipsing around flipping Tesco's, I know that. Supermarket, I hate supermarket shopping. I hate it. Right, I'm in a bit of a slow traffic now because of all the extra traffic in this diversion. Right, I'll go for a waffle anymore at you. I shall speak to you guys later. I just switched it on so you can see the blue sky. See what I mean? Ireland, not a cloud in the sky. That's almost flipping unheard of. Excuse me, almost flipping unheard of. There's a nice factory for you to look at. That's picturesque, isn't it? Right, guys, speak to you later. Look at the little squirrel! Oh, he's away. Where is he? This is what I have to put up with when I'm trying to eat something. Lunch stroke breakfast today is 2 slices of brown toast. That's a boiled egg under there. That's a piece of ham. And that is 50% less soft cheese, which is actually really low calorie. I can't understand how it's so low. So yes, I'm going to eat this. I'm going to have to leave them a bit. Dear me. Friday afternoon. I don't know what these dogs are doing on the sofa. Switched it on to show you my progress for my embroidery so far. This is what we're doing. Van Gogh Starry Night, and this is where we're at. It takes so long, guys, honestly. I mean, each one of those little stitches have to fill in like this. So I'm going to do these next. They're like suns. So yeah, that's what's happening. Isaac's back to Scouts tonight. I am driving, Kel Surprise. And yeah, I shall speak to you guys later. Hello, it is Friday evening. We're just about to set off to Scouts. Guess who's driving? Guess who's picking up Robert and Kayla? But apparently next Friday their dad's doing it, so we'll wait to see. I can imagine it being done 1 week and then being forgotten about, but they're doing it next week apparently. So yeah, It's a really nice looking day, but for some reason the wind is
freezing.
It's 12 degrees, which it was the other day when it was actually quite nice when I went into town with my mum. It was quite a nice day, but it's very windy out here. The thing about the sun is it shows up all the dust in your car.
Wind chill's a lot colder than bloody 12.
Birds have been crapping all over the car as well. It's all up that side.
Well,
so
get him told then.
we need to protect it through the car wash.
You're always talking to him, tell him.
Right, I want to get a bird book so I can identify everything that's
What,
outside.
which one's shit on the car?
No. To be able to see what ones are outside. Right, I shall catch up with you guys probably tomorrow. There'll be nothing else to tell you this evening. I just thought I'd update the ongoing lift escapade, so I'm driving tonight. Let's hope next Friday you see something different.
I do.
So check up with you later. Hello! It is Saturday. About 3:30. I am heading into town to see Evil Dead Rise. I've been really looking forward to it. I was hoping there was something on that Isaac could watch at the same time. We could have brought one of his friends and him, but there's literally nothing that he hasn't seen that is his age range. So, for when he's 15, then we'll go, oh, there's cars. Right, can I get past this? I'll try. Shit. People don't realise that people driving at 20 mile an hour along the road is more of a hazard than people flipping speeding. Because if I get stuck behind that guy, I'm not going to get to the cinema in time, and I've left myself 10 minutes over what I need, but that guy is now dust, he's gone. It's like, keep up with the speed of the road, folks. Anyway, so Evil Dead Rise, I like the Evil Dead films. This one looks really freaky, it looks quite scary, so I don't know what to expect really. I'm starving. It's like, this is the thing, I never used to get anything to eat when I went to the cinema. It's just not something I ever did. But Darren's one of these people that can't go to the cinema without nibbling or eating something. And he got me into the habit of doing it, and now when I go and I don't have something to eat, I feel like I'm missing something. So because I'm not going to be snacking today, it's going to be like, oh, for God's sake. So, yeah. Boo hiss. So, at the minute, it looks like I've lost about 3 or 4 pounds, but I'm not gonna be joyous about that, because I've been known to think I've lost 3 pounds and step on the scales the next day and it's back on again. So my weight's really erratic. I don't know if it's fluid or what it is, but it can go up and down like nobody's business. So, but something's come off. I know something's come off. I've been really, really good though. I've been ridiculously good. So what else can I tell you? So last night, I didn't put the thing on afterwards. So last night we called for Robert and Kayla for Scouts, and Robert didn't come out. And Kayla was mortified. Oh, Robert's not coming. Darren said, is he sick? She goes, you could tell she was so uncomfortable. Well, no, I don't think he's going back, to be honest. And I was like, right, okay, this is like a week after I don't know if I told you, they introduced an attendance policy at Scouts, which I was like, yes. Saying, like, I'll put up a picture of the thing on screen. Basically saying that there's a list of people waiting to join, and it's not fair that a poorly attended Scout takes that place if you don't turn up for 3 weeks without letting anyone know, that you'll lose your place and you'll have to go back on the list if you want to rejoin. Because Robert and Kayla, I mean, at one stage in a course of 2 months, they went once. So about 4 or 5 new kids have started. One of which is someone that was a girl from Isaac's year in school, and he does not like her. He keeps saying she's really annoying. So I don't know if she's annoying because she's a crush on him, or he's saying she's annoying because he's a crush on her. Not entirely sure. But anyway, she started, and his friend Ruben has started. So Robert didn't go. We dropped Kayla off. I said, does Isaac's friend Ruben goes to the same school as Robert? I says, Ruben's starting tonight. And she goes, oh, he might have came if he had a knew he was starting. It's like, what does that say about Isaac, who was like his best friend for a year and took him everywhere and went everywhere with him and was always in his house? Isaac's just got fed up at this point running after Robert, because Robert doesn't reciprocate it at all. He never contacts Isaac. He doesn't say, do you want to come up? He doesn't answer his messages, and eventually Isaac just got fed up messaging. No doubt Robert probably wonders why Isaac doesn't come up anymore. It's because he got fed up being the one doing all the running. Anyway, I was at my mum's, so that's another story. And Robert's mum came in. As I said, she's one of my mum's carers. She doesn't come in often, but she came in on Friday night, and the first words when she came in the door were, "Did he go?" So she obviously knew that he probably wasn't going to go, but didn't tell me. And I says, no. She goes, oh, he's going to lose his place, you know. And I says, yeah, well, Ruben started tonight. And she goes, oh, if he'd have known that, he'd have probably went. Again, what does that say about Isaac? And I wish I had a thought to say at the time, oh, well, is Isaac not his friend anymore? And he'd said before he didn't want to go because she said to me, he can't make friends. And I'm like, does she not understand why that is? Do they not think to possibly address that? And she says, always, he's going through a difficult stage at the minute. And I thought, what? He's been going through a difficult stage for years? He's going through a difficult stage at the minute. He came home the other day and he was crying because he said that he'd fallen out with Ruben. He'd been cheeky to Ruben. I thought, well, that didn't surprise me because that's what he does to everyone. So Robert will probably be there next week because Ruben's there, which is ridiculous. What else was I going to say? Ruben's dad was there to pick Ruben up, and Darren was stood talking to him for a while. Is this diverted still? Right, there's no sign about diversion. I'm going to chance going in this way. I'm going to be really annoyed if it's still shut because I'll be late for the cinema. What was I saying? Yeah, Ruben's dad was there, and Darren was stood talking to him, and he told Ruben's dad the situation, and he says, yeah, he said, we've been doing it for 15 months. They've never done it once, and the one time they did do it, they didn't ask Isaac, and his mouth was getting wider by the second. And then he said, just loads of stuff. I'll not repeat half of it, but loads of stuff that's not on. And he says, yeah, now if he doesn't go, we're still expected to take the sister. And Ruben's dad's like, you fucking what? Are they taking the piss or what? He says, yeah, you tell me. He says, she always says Robert's going, then you call up and Robert doesn't go. He says, why should you have to take? It's someone that's not... They don't even hang about anymore anyway, but even if they did, why are you having to take his sister? And I'm like, yeah, you tell me. So, watch this space. Next week, his dad's supposed to be doing it. So, we'll see what happens. He would need to do it, because if he doesn't, I'm not going to be happy. But my mum's not good at all again. They don't understand why I get stressed. She fell on the floor the other night because the thing that she uses is steady. She can't get her legs under her properly. I've said you need a hoist. She doesn't want a hoist. She doesn't want change. I says, what if you broke a hip or my dad put us back up? I says, well, how did you get her back up onto the bed? He says, I lifted her. My dad's not able to lift me, mum. My dad's like 9 stone nothing, if he's even that. He's got fibro, ME, arthritis, COPD. He's not well, and he's got a really bad back, so he's lifted her. Last time, I think my mum's kidneys are really bad. They've told her she's maybe got cystitis and given her 3 days worth of antibiotics. It's just a continuous route of infections, but now she has started talking about that thing I told you before where it's almost like dementia. It's a thing called it's when you get an infection, delirium. And she's like, oh, I have to get you an anniversary card. And I says, you already got one? No, I didn't. I says, you got one yesterday when you were downtown with me. Oh, did it? She thought it was Sunday when it was Friday. She just, where's Isaac? I says, he's at Scouts. Oh. And then she'll sit and start a conversation with herself, and she'll just sit and talk to herself. So she's starting that whole thing again. You can't hear what she's saying at all. She's slurring, she's mumbling. She's just, it's like a rant. It's the only way I can, it's like, and you'll hear like a word in every sentence, and then she gets really frustrated if you can't understand what she's saying. It's your fault. But they don't want any changes. They don't want to look into anything. She doesn't want a hoist, which she needs. And I'm hoping the carers say, look, it's not safe, you need a hoist. And then when the carers came in just before me, my dad said the two girls at lunchtime really struggled with her, really struggled. Then they came in at bedtime just before me and Darren left to pick up Isaac. And I says, you know, how did she manage there? Because, you know, oh, she's straight up. They said a bit over to one side, but she managed fine. And I'm thinking, it always seems to be this sort of thing where you worry and worry and worry for weeks, and it's a bit and a bit and a bit, and then, you know, all of a sudden you get a phone call, your mum's in the hospital. Or like last time I went in on their wedding anniversary with a bunch of flowers, oh, your ma's in hospital, and my dad was in bed because he'd put his back out. He dropped my mum. This was before the carers were even brought in, so it was 2 times ago that she was in hospital, but she was in after that as well. It's always the same. It's always like kidneys and infections and delirium, and it's just really stressful because my dad, like, he always miraculously has a bad back, so he can't go to the hospital, which means I have to go every day, which I'm not going to be able to do if it happens again, because Isaac's got, you know, he's not like got the bus home from school every day. He's 2 days a week he's got after schools clubs, so I can't go either of those days because I'm like to the point of really, really tired, and this is going to sound really selfish and I apologise if it does. I'm really tired of just constantly uprooting my life and constantly, like, everything has to be, you know, like around what happens to them when, and no matter, I have no say in anything, I can't contribute to anything, I can't give advice because it's not listened to, they just won't hear it, but then I'm expected to step straight in and solve everything when the shit hits the fan, and that's what happens every time, and that's what happened with my blood pressure. But the worst situation is because she went in that home that was really unsuitable for a day. I mean, when I went to visit her the day after she went in, she sat and cried at me the entire time she was there. But if she was told, you know, to go into a home for respite, she wouldn't do it because her experience was so bad. Now it's actually put us in a worse position than we were in before, where previously she might have thought it would have been fine. Now she's like, I hated it, I don't want to do it. So it's left us in a bit of a predicament. It's like any reading I've done, like my mum's symptoms are even, they're beyond. It's hard to discuss this without sounding really callous, but I almost feel like I can't talk to anyone about it. My mum's not even, the list of symptoms for advanced MS, my mum's well past that, because like advanced MS may have difficulty standing or walking. My mum can't walk, she can't stand unaided, she needs lifted, she needs hoisted or steadied or wherever, everywhere. She can't, like, my mum couldn't sit down on a bed and like maintain her own weight. She would fall, she would basically just fall over, like to one side on the bed. She can't like use a knife and fork, she struggles to drink, she has no memory, no concentration, she has real difficulty with her speech, her vision is almost gone, her vision's really bad now. I mean, everything on that, really bad persistent infections, everything on that MS list she has, but past what they consider advanced, she actually has what the list is of end of life stage MS. But my mum's been at this stage for several years now, and I'm not saying, God no, I'm not saying I want my mum to pass away, of course I don't, but it's so stressful as a family member for someone to be this ill for this long, you know, and there's no respite, there's no break, there's no, you know, and every year there's another big thing, and then there's my dad that won't go to the doctors with all his situations, and they wonder why I get stressed. And my mum's answer to that is, I wish I had have had more children so that there was more of you to spread it out between. And she doesn't think that that's a selfish attitude. She doesn't see that that's a selfish attitude. You don't have children so that you have built-in carers, but that's how my mum sees it. As a child, it's your job to look after your parents, and that's fine. If I had elderly parents that needed help, that needed shopping doing, that needed all that's fine. But when it comes to someone that's got MS to the stage that she has it, where they need 24/7 care, preferably by 2 trained carers, I'm not able to do that, but she doesn't want to know that. I mean, if she had my dad up looking after her when he had shingles, and you know how bad shingles is, she had my dad up looking after her when he had shingles, and her viewpoint was, well, what am I supposed to do? I can't do anything for myself. She just doesn't understand how that's not fair. And it's really frustrating. I'm like venting now. I bet I sound like a real selfish bitch. But you know, I look at other people and going out and doing things and enjoying themselves and having nights out without having to think about it, and having grandparents that look after the grandkids, and you know, having parents there that are a support rather than you having to support everyone. And that's how I feel. I feel like we're having to support absolutely everyone, and it's difficult. It can be difficult. The only place I go is the cinema, and I can only go on my own. I would prefer to go with Darren, obviously I would, but can't, because we can't leave Isaac. And I mean, the only time I leave Isaac with my parents is once in a blue moon, like when I went to see Leaving Overmorrow. But I sent him in with a tablet, his phone and a laptop, and he amused himself for a few hours, and I was home by 9 o'clock. But I mean, Tuesday is our anniversary. We won't get to do anything for it, we never do. So it'd just be nice to be carefree for a bit, you know what I mean? And even when Isaac's old enough to have left home, I'll still be in the position of, that'll be viewed as, well, that'll free you up more to come in to do stuff for me. That'll mean you'll be able to, like, and the way it'll be put, you'll be able to support your dad more, so he won't have to do everything. So, you know, there isn't the excuse of having, like, it's an excuse of having a child to look after. It's just extremely frustrating. God, I've ranted. I'm gonna have to take all this fucking out, am I? All this flipping ranting. Single magpie, just to top things off. Right, guys, I will sign off now, and I will try and remember to let you know how Evil Dead was. I will probably do a come with me on my channel, but I will try to remember to let you know on the vlog what I thought of it. So guys, Evil Dead Rise. I'm trying to manoeuvre my way out of this car park. It's a nightmare because there's like half the space there needs to be because of roadworks. Like, where's he going? People don't know where they're going. It was a lot of fun. I have done like more of a review for my main channel, just to come with me. I tend to only do it for like bigger movies. I don't do it for the smaller ones that I go see, but the sort of big sort of name ones I do. What the fuck? It's really hard to work out what part of the road I'm meant to be driving on because there's so many flipping cones. Yeah, a lot of fun, exceptionally gory. If you don't like a gory movie, this is crooked, I really would not recommend that you go watch that because it's very, very gory. I personally really enjoy a gory movie, so I enjoyed it. It's not as frightening as I thought it would be. I thought it would be a lot more sinister than it was. Although it was pretty damn sinister, I suppose, when you think about the subject matter. But I think it was more concentrated on... Lisa, find a gear, Lisa. I think it was more concentrated on gore and sort of like shocks rather than this keeps going sideways, rather than scares as such. When I say shocks, I sort of mean like, you know, you see a person's face appear really, you know, like a jump scare. There's a few of those type of things in it. The special effects are incredible. I loved, I think her name's Lily Sullivan, she plays a character called Beth. I absolutely loved her. She could be a favourite actress of mine going forward. She just, I knew the moment she came on screen, the moment she started to speak, I thought, I'm going to really like this girl, and I did. I didn't even know she was going to pan out to be one of the main actresses, but she was. She was the sister of the main mum that becomes possessed. So yeah, recommend, go check it out for sure. I've said it a little bit more in my main review, but not much more. As you can hear, it's pouring it down, as is usual for Northern Ireland. So what time is it? 6 o'clock. So I will go home and get myself something to eat, which is not what I want to eat, because I want burgers and Chinese and stuff like that. But I'm trying to, yeah, I'm going the right way. See the amount of different directions I have to go because of that bloody diversion, and then I'll second guess myself that I've gone the wrong way. So yeah, go home and get myself something to eat, and it's into my mum's tomorrow. I hope that she's not quite as bad as she was on. Right, are you going to go out? You fucking arsehole. Have you seen that guy fly past at, I don't know what speed, that I was having to feed out of a slip road there onto the main road. There's nothing in the outside lane, nothing. That guy is tearing along the inside lane, and he's overtaking loads of traffic now in front. It's, as you can hear, pissing it down. I'm doing 70, he's away, he's maybe doing 85, and he would not move out from that inside lane to the outside lane to let me feed in. So he would rather I stopped the car entirely on the slip on the rain. Which, like, you know how it is, you have to get your speed up to come off the slip onto a main dual carriageway. How are you supposed to slam your brakes on a slip road? Oh, fucking idiot. Pardon my language, but stupid drivers really aggravate me. I mean, if I'm driving on a dual carriageway, I'm always extremely conscious, not only if I'm in that inside lane, that there's no one going to be trying to feed out, but also I'm very conscious if I'm in the outside lane, not to leave my lane blocked off when I pass one of those slips, so that someone on the inside has got space to move out. You have to think both ways. Leave space for someone to move out into your lane, or if you're in that inside lane, move out. You would be amazed at the amount of people that just, oh well, this is where I'm staying, I don't give a shit what's happening to anyone else anywhere else, I'm just sitting here. Oh! So I wonder what I'm going to eat when I get home. It's a pain in the arse when you can't eat what you want. Honestly, I caught a side profile of myself. I hate mirrors. I can't even tell you. The only mirror I look in is when I am washing my face, putting on moisturiser, or putting makeup on. I avoid full length mirrors like the plague, and I just caught sight of myself in the full length mirror as I was walking to the sideways, which is even worse. Walking to the toilet. Jesus Christ. Oh, I'm like a weeble. So badly need to lose weight. Well, if you're in the UK, I'm like, sizes are different in the UK and US, as I know people from both watch. So like in the UK, I'm like a size 18. Sometimes I would wear a 20 if I wanted to be loose. I'd prefer to be like a 12, maybe 14, I wouldn't mind so much, but I'm an 18, and as I say, pushing into a 20 if I don't want something tight fitting. In the US, that's probably a, let me think, that's probably a 14 to 16, is it, in the US? I think you're possibly 2 sizes down from us. I'm not entirely sure, but fat basically. I'm not monstrous, I'm not gargantuan, but yeah, fat. I've gone beyond curvy. You know, curvy's maybe a size 6, 14, 16, that's curvy, but when you're 18/20, that's gone beyond curvy, that's fat. It's depressing, because I love my food so much. I just wish I could click my fingers and get rid of fibromyalgia and sciatica and ME and all that stuff. I just wish I could be normal so that I could be active and not have such an issue with my weight. Oh, I'm sure you're sick to death of me moaning about my weight. I do apologise, but like it's a warts and all vlog, isn't it? And that's anyway. So right, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna sing to something on the way home to cheer myself up, and then work out what I'm gonna eat when I go in. That's not gonna be calorie laden. So guys, I shall sign off, and I will check in with you probably tomorrow, when I'm setting off into my mum's just to close the vlog off for the week. No guys, it's yes, I'm in my bathroom. It's Sunday night. I'm just closing off the vlog, guys. A little bit of news today. I ended up not going to my mum's today. She caught me 20 minutes before I was due to leave. She can't get out of bed because she's not able to use the steady. The carers, she's told them it's not safe to be on the steady, so they've told her they have to wait for a assessment to be done for them to start using a hoist, which means she now cannot get out of bed. I don't know how long that's going to be the case. I don't know if they're going to help her out of bed onto the toilet, what's going to happen. It became evident today that she's not been honest with what's been happening, because she said, I says, why is my dad not up? Oh, your dad's tired because he had to. And then she stopped dead, and I says, he had to what? Nothing. My mum's really bad at trying to be dishonest. I says, what did he have to do? I says, there's something you're not telling me. Well, he had to lift me from the commode into the bed. My dad shouldn't be lifting my mum. He's not able to. And it appears that that's been going on for some time. At night time, he's gonna half kill himself. I knew earlier this week, I had the big rant about it as I was driving, that something was gonna happen. And now, as is the case, I say you won't do these things, you won't preempt them until you're in a position where nothing else can happen, and then you end up in that position and then it's forced upon you. And I says, it's going to happen again, it's going to be forced upon you. And now she's stuck in her bed. I don't know when they'll be able to get her the assessment. It'll not be very nice to be stuck in the bedroom. My mum will hate that. She's very much someone that will want to be up and be in the living room. And I know that she'll nag my dad, and he'll try and get her out of bed and wheel her into the living room. You just can't talk to them, and it's a constant fucking worry as to what's going to happen next. So I'm actually waiting on hospitalisation within the next week. Every time it's got to this kind of stage, she's ended up in hospital with kidney problems. She is exhibiting like the starting signs of delirium. She's very weak. She's fallen to one side. She can't support her weight. So it's not good. I don't think she's getting enough fluids either, because she's sitting like it's like she's drinking, but she's not tipping the glass high enough to actually get any liquids. I've watched her and I says, you need to be. And when you tell her and you watch her, she does, but I'm not there every day. And my dad doesn't pay a blind bit of notice. My dad like walks about in his own little dream world. He gets up, he sticks his head in his newspaper, and my dad's really hard of hearing, and my mum is mumbling and slurring and talking down. She can't even hold her head up to look at you when she's talking. She's looking down all the time. So I foresee another hospital stay. And if that happens, my dad will do as usual and not go. Like I had a rant about earlier in the week, and I'll end up having to keep running back and forth, which I'm not up to doing, but she's going to need this, that and the other, and clothes brought up and clothes brought down and washing and all this stuff. And I'm the only one there to do it. And I do keep saying, shit always hits the fan and I always have to step in. And they keep saying, but you won't. And then it happens and I do. I almost have a good mind when something happens of not being available, of saying, I'm not well, I'm in bed. What do they do then? But I couldn't do that. It's not in my nature to do that, but it would teach them a lesson. But as much as they need to be shook out, I've tried. I've spoken to them both at length. I've spoken to them sternly. My response was from my mum, oh, well, you're in a wonderful mood today. And from my dad, just don't answer the phone if she rings. Just ignore it. Just wash your hands off the situation. That's helpful. Not, we will work with you to try and make more sensible decisions, you know. Sorry, my hair's really messy, guys. I've washed it today and I've just put it back in a ponytail, so it's not curled or straightened, so it's frizzy. Not that I'm particularly worried about what my hair looks like at this minute. So yeah, that's what's happening this week. So this week's mainly been anger at the dentist for another cancellation. New vets, extra expense for x-ray, and she needed the medication she was on anyway for Molly. And now it's all kicking off with my mum. It's like I say to people, I feel like my life doesn't go very long without more stress, and you're getting an example of what, I mean, this vlog highlights that. I mean, how long ago was it with the whole care home situation? And then before that was my dad's shingles, and it's just one thing after another, it really is. So I'm gonna go, guys. I'm trying to like not fixate on it and try not to worry too much, because I'm telling my brain if something happens, it's gonna happen, and no amount of me stressing, worrying is gonna change it, and no amount of me trying to talk to my parents is gonna convince them to do anything different. So I have to try and not allow the old blood pressure to. It's just because I know that I'm going to be dropped in it, and I'm not always going to be able to step in life. There will be times I can't. At the minute, I've had about 3 weeks of the sciatica is shocking. I mean, I have really bad back pain anyway, normally, but anyone that suffers from sciatica will tell you when it's a bad attack, it's just unbearable. And at the minute, it's terrible. It's just excruciating pain in my lower back, my hip, and all down my leg into my foot on the right hand side. Like I can't bend down to pick things up. Getting on and off chairs is really sore. Sleeping in bed at night is excruciatingly painful. And I'm just sitting constantly with like an electric heat pad thing to try and take the worst off. But yeah, things have been better. I'm just hoping things won't resolve themselves because it's not going to go away, but I'm hoping my mum's a bit better for August for me going away. That's another worry, the expense of this. I can't cancel it. And the other side of it is I hope I'm not like I am right now, because I'm not very good, and if I had to go to Florida next week, I wouldn't be able to partake in loads of stuff because of how bad my back actually is. But yeah. On a more pleasant note, I watched video footage of all the guys meeting up in Brighton for Jamie's birthday. So many of them were there. There were Carl and Big Polly and Alan and Evander, and Megan made it down, which was really brave of her to travel down on her own. Must have been scary. And Jason and Sophie, it was Sophie's birthday. I'm sure there's more that I've left out. There's a couple of people I didn't really know, but it just looked wonderful. I would love to have been there. I definitely will. I'm not just blowing smoke or anything. I will one day make it over. As I say, I want to get over to see Kelly and Dave and Alice again. And I would love to meet up with all the guys, so I'll try and entice. I can't afford to obviously just, if I went over, it's not just, it's a flight, it's a hotel, and it's car hire. It's a lot of money. So I'd need to try and tie everything in that I can at the same time. So yeah, guys, thanks for watching this week. It's been a bit of a trying one. I do apologise about the more morose videos, but as I say, I do more so do these for me to be able to look back at different periods in life. And I think you learn something from it. I'm trying to learn. I used to fixate so much about my parents' situation and health and what was going to happen. It would just play havoc with my mind constantly all day long. And I think looking back on old videos when things have been particularly bad has taught me that it's not going to make any difference. So I have to try not to make myself ill as well, because I've got Isaac to be there for, and that's priority for me, but it should be priority for me. So yes, guys, thank you so much for watching. I shall catch up with you next week, see if there's any movement on the mum situation, if she gets her hoist instead of her steady. Hopefully she can avoid hospital, but we shall see. A hospital stay might well be exactly what she needs to build her back up again. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll check in with you next week.